Welcome back, everyone, to the best podcast in New York. This episode of the Assassin Cast is for the week of May 14th, 2018. I'm Jeremy Malaspina, accompanied by my co-host, Dan McCarthy. And we have an action-packed episode where we'll be going over the following topics. We're going to be talking Deadpool 2 review. For whatever reason, I have it fucking spelled wrong in the topic list. So thank you very much to my past self. We're going to give you our thoughts and discussions. And also, it hit 133 million opening day to surpass Marvel Infinity War. So we're going to be talking about that in depth. So we're going to give our in-depth review. And before I go on with the rest of the topics, we apologize in advance because we are running behind due to scheduling conflicts. And maybe Dan will elaborate on his little...
Fuck yourself, don't blame me.
Yeah, well, maybe not. Or maybe it was a little bit of us both. Pretty much, we should have just did it Saturday, but we didn't. Anyway, moving on. We have one other movie topic. Usually when we do the reviews, we don't have many movie topics, but we threw this one in there. We're going to be talking Mile 22 with Mark Wahlberg. From the look of the trailer, it looks pretty decent, so we'll give our thoughts on that. And later on in gaming, we're going to discuss another leak, but this time it's Nintendo Retro Studios that we're going to be talking about, and it has to do with Star Fox Racing. Very interesting.
Star Fox.
I mean, who doesn't? I don't know why this just switched up on people. I'm going to be talking the Nividia GTX 1080 Ti. For you PC lovers out there, we're going to be talking in depth because now it is available. It actually was available over the weekend, but since we're running behind, it is available right now when you're watching this podcast. So maybe after you're done listening to what we have to say, hey, go buy that shit. It looks pretty official. Not going to lie. Last in the gaming topics is we're going to be talking Mila Jovich, I don't know if I said that right, to star in Capcom's next movie, and guess what it is? It's not Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Dan, unfortunately. It's the Monster Hunter movie. That's actually a topic from last week that we did not get into. We just didn't have time. So that's the topics for this week. It's a short one, but we have a pretty in-depth review for Deadpool, so I think we'll be all right. Anything going on, Dan? Anything
I would
going
just
on?
let these guys know, anybody listening, turn this shit off if you haven't seen Deadpool. We will be spoiling it. However, if anybody that knows this movie, spoilers in this movie are not going to kill you.
Right. We're going to be talking about, there is a major spoiler that we'll probably be talking about, but if you want to go in fresh, we suggest you skip to probably halfway through the video or halfway through the audio, depending on how you are listening/watching us. You might want to do that, because we will most likely spoil the shit for you. So, other than that, it was a great movie. But before we go into that, let's do some announcements real quick. All right? So first off, Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. It's August 12th. We've been talking about it last couple podcasts. We're in the process of trying to get a table, and that is a mistake on my behalf because we should have gotten the table like a month ago. That's my bad. So we're on the emergency table list, so hopefully you guys will be able to meet us. We will definitely be there irregardless. And no matter what, I'm still going to have a backpack, and I will have the console cleaner with us. So if you guys want to pick that up, you can. But me and Dan will be there, so you can talk to us, ask us questions, whatever the case. Hopefully by that time, we'll pick up the pace a little bit. Also, other announcements, we were featured in 2 articles the last 2 weeks. We were featured on the podcast movement. Shout out to those guys, man. They are awesome over there. We were featured for the month of May with 86 other podcasts up and coming. We were selected out of them, and they had a little blurb, and they actually had my dumb mug on the page. But
I want to talk to the people that make those pictures.
I was like, what the fuck? But no, they actually put our logo up there. It was my request, obviously, to put the logo. So we got featured with a bunch of other great podcasts. So we'll link that article in the description on YouTube and on Podbean, so you guys can take a good read in case you want to check out some other good podcasts, because they pick the best, obviously the best podcast in New York is on there.
Let's go.
And that's so funny because in the description it said they live by their motto, the best podcast in New York, and that's for fucking damn sure. So shout out, shout out to the podcast movement. That was awesome. We also were included on up and coming podcasts on Soapbox. I think I might have mentioned that last week, but just in case, yeah, I think I did actually also. But just in case you guys didn't know or hear, we were also included in that as well. With it wasn't 86 podcasts. I think it was narrowed down to about 10. So you know, we're getting ourselves out there. And last thing for announcements, I think I mentioned it last podcast. The Assassin Cast number 1, the first ever podcast from us, was actually just me doing an interview with Irene from Isha Gaming. And actually, I was just talking to her on the phone before we started. She is doing a promo video for that article and our interview of me and her. So that's coming out as well. So I'm sure we might have some traffic from her channel. So for all those guys coming from over there, welcome to the Assassin Cast.
Welcome. Lucky bastards.
Yeah. You made your way to the best fucking podcast. I plugged it twice. I'm just going to shut the fuck up now. All right, let's move on to Deadpool 2, the review. Oh, wait. I totally didn't even let you talk about what's going on with your life. You want to...
Same shit, different day, man. We always say the same thing.
I know.
People don't come here to hear about my fucking life.
That is true. Well, you never know. Maybe they do. Maybe they want to know what's going on in the world of Dan. Nobody.
Dan think about this stuff.
That's right. That's right.
And then maybe they think to themselves, maybe Dan cares what I think, but they have made that abundantly clear.
That's right.
Well, kind of don't.
Well, that's
why I'm in charge of PR, guys.
That's right. That's the trials and tribulations of the PR department.
Not the faint of heart. I give you my opinion.
Right.
Choose to accept the right opinion or continue living with the wrong is completely up to you.
Exactly. We give you the unbiased truth over here. So
it's just my opinion. That's as simple as that.
What are you gonna do? All right. So let's get into this before we go too long. But that's the announcements for the week. So real quick, let's talk Deadpool 2. Let's give our review. First off, what did you think of the movie?
It was really good, man. Like I always tell you, it's different. Like you said, I think that's why it surpassed Infinity War the way it did. It's just a different type of movie. You got a little bit of comedy that we all like.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to bring the kids to it like we saw a ton in Infinity War at least when I went and saw it. And
no clapping. There was no clapping.
Exactly. I'm always impressed without the goddamn clapping I got to hear. Amazing. And like I said, when the movie opens up mocking Hugh Jackman and Wolverine, it is immediately thrust into the top echelon of my fucking movies.
That's so true. So real quick, guys, me and Dan went to go see this movie together. And mainly because we wanted to see it and we wanted to talk about it on the podcast. Absolutely. And it's funny because as soon as the opening scene opened up, it was a little statue of Wolverine impaled with the claws out, spinning around into like little, what is that, musical box music? Yeah. And I looked at Dan and he had a fucking huge grin on his face. I was like, this is fucking awesome. It just started awesome.
That's why I love it. It always mocks Wolverine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, my idea on it was good. It was funny. You know, it wasn't like, I want to say with Ryan Reynolds, it's not like what you see is what you get. Usually it is with his other movies. But he takes this role very serious. And which is kind of funny because Deadpool isn't a serious character.
True.
You know, like he's funny and like, you know, he does have a heart, obviously. You know, he feels he got a girl. You know, there was like a love storyline plot that got kind of shit canned real quick in the beginning of the movie. From what you start, it's almost like he does like a flashback sequence in the beginning. But you know, like I said, with Ryan Reynolds to play, he takes the character role serious, but the character is not a serious character. So it's very interesting dynamic, and he plays the character well. And obviously, we know hitting 133 million opening
incredible.
fucking day. That's amazing. It surpassed Infinity War, which is a lot to say.
Think about it. That's without all the kids going.
Right. And I mean, I don't know if you're gonna really bring kids to see it. It was more for us, I would say.
I would say, yeah, you gotta. The kid needs to see, at least if you were comfortable with him seeing the first one. I don't think the second one's any worse, but yeah.
Right. Like
Obviously
we were
it's rated R. They all know that.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were talking. There isn't a lot of nudity. I mean, there's a few parts that we'll get into later that were like comedic jokes, I guess you would say. We'll talk about that later on when we go through the movie itself. But there wasn't really that much. There wasn't a lot of nudity. There was a lot of cursing, very violent. There could be some graphic times, and we'll speak a little bit more on that in a minute. But all said and done, I thought it was a great movie. We both walked out of the movie theater like, this was fucking awesome. And my bad, I was actually going to get some B-roll of us coming out to movies because, they don't really get to see us together. You know what I mean? So I should have took some B-roll of us together just for them to see. We actually were thinking about recording the podcast together, but we were both like, fuck that. And now we're paying for it on Monday.
The shit out of Jeremy and Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel stuff.
Fucking forget it.
Right.
We'll get into that later. But, so real quick, the movie starts off with Ryan Reynolds laying on top of kerosene. And you're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And, he like starts talking about a flashback sequence of him and his wife, I guess. I don't know if they were married or it's his girl.
Not married yet.
I guess they weren't married yet, but it's his girl. And the first thing he does is he flicks a cigarette up, laying on top of the kerosene, and it lands in the drum, and he explodes into a million fucking pieces. So, then he explains the sequence. He goes around the world, fucking up people for doing fucked up shit. That's just what he was doing. And it's just a lot of comedy. Like, he's in Korea, and the guy's talking to him in Korean, and he's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I'm fucking coming to get you. He comes crashing through the window. It's just like a lot of funny shit. So you see him going around the world chasing some people, brings him to this one dude. I think he was Russian, I want to say. And then he comes running out of the fucking place, and the dude in the taxi's like singing, and he has no idea that there's a crowd of people chasing him. And he dives through the window. And I think his name is Dopender. He plays a bigger role this movie than he did last movie. He's not just a taxi driver. You know what I mean? He's in the bar working with his boy. So there was a little bit more dynamic to each of the characters you've already seen, which was good. So they were playing off of the characters from the last movie, including Colossus was in there, and
yeah, the chick. Everybody knows her. The one with the faux hawk. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows that chick. So anyway, long story short, what was I gonna say? So the main storyline has to do with Ryan Reynolds. His girl dies because the dude that was chasing him out of the place comes barreling through his fucking apartment. He ends up killing a couple people, but she gets hit by a bullet. So he's all fucked up. So that's like the main storyline. And she dies. No spoiler, I guess. She dies and he just fucking loses it. He blows himself up. Colossus pulls him out in a bunch of fucking pieces. And then, the next thing you know, he's in the fucking mansion with the X-Men. Which he makes a lot of jokes. Like, he's definitely not X-Men material, obviously. And then the plot starts to thicken where, I think one of the funniest parts is he steals Professor X's wheelchair and he's wheeling through the house. And what's funny is me and Dan were talking that we didn't even notice a Stan Lee appearance because normally in every Marvel movie, he's either there, he's the bus driver, he's the fucking guy at the deli counter. Like, you never know who he could be. But it's funny, we left the movies and I was like, I don't even remember seeing him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, where the fuck is this guy at? And I found out later on that while he's in Professor X's wheelchair, wheeling around, knocking shit over, he knocks over a statue of Stan Lee. So that was like his appearance. So you can't even blame Stan Lee. He's like fucking 95 years old.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Just waking up every morning.
Exactly. Like, more power to that guy, man. They fucking built a strong fucking legacy, man. It's so great that he gets to see his legacy live on, So, real quick, what else was I gonna say? I'm getting lost. Do you want to take over for a second? I'm trying to like
Yep.
recoup my
Well, you know
thoughts.
how it goes from there. He pretty
Yeah.
much Colossus is attempting to help him refine himself. The
Hmm.
same storyline from the first one. They want him to be a better person.
Right.
He pretty much always will never become that person that they think he's going to be. So
Hmm.
that allows him to meet the other lead in the story, where he meets a mutant. That if you've watched the trailers online, you see that he meets. He wants to. He sees this kid being treated the way he was. He feels for him, wants to protect him, but won't do it the way the X-Men do it by, hugs and kisses.
Right.
He
Right.
just finds that you have to do it by revenge and by
And fucking
thinking off the
killing
top of
people.
your head. So when
Right.
he did that, they have Colossus finally said, "I can't help you anymore." Sends him to go to prison, where they put a special, looks like a dog collar on him that
Hmm.
doesn't allow him to use his mutant powers.
Right.
Builds the storyline between him and the kid a little bit about how he wants nothing to do with them anymore, and so on and so forth.
And
And then,
which,
like you said, you finally get to see Cable,
nice.
and
Yeah.
it begins the whole story together.
Right.
What is the reason Cable's coming? Is because similar to if people have seen the movie Looper,
Right.
that's what it reminds me of.
Mhm.
It's that he loses his family in the future because of the kid Ryan Reynolds is now befriending, and he wants to go back to kill this kid so he will change his own future, and the kid will not eventually get old enough and be the warlord he is and kill his family.
Exactly. So
And
Cable comes
so-
back for revenge, and it actually plays in part with the storyline with his girl because before she gets killed, they're talking about having a kid. So it kind of like is an it's a part of the story that is getting put through the entire movie. So him being a kid and Ryan Reynolds taking this as like I guess a way, to do
get back. Yep.
yeah, a way to do good and at least do good while she's gone in a sense. So, because obviously she gets killed before they're able to even have the thought of having a kid. And they make jokes along the whole way of this movie. We're just giving you a quick, plot and storyline because we're not going to ruin all the jokes, obviously. We want you
You
guys
got to
to go.
see him, I think, too.
go
If
and
these
see
jokes
it
are going to work
yourself.
like that. I can tell you some of the like I always laugh with you. The one I always loved in the first one is like, you look like an avocado had sex with an even uglier avocado.
Uglier
But
avocado.
stuff like that, like out
Right.
of context, you won't get it. But
Yeah.
of course, you guys will be laughing. He continuously mocks the X-Men. He mocks
Yeah.
Wolverine.
So,
And like I told you, man, I was more impressed with Josh Brolin. The
right.
guy did a great job with Thanos, and then went
then
into this
boom,
movie, and I thought
back
great.
to
I thought he
back.
did a great job as Cable.
Absolutely. Back to back, went from Thanos to Cable, and he did a great job playing Cable. It was like spot on to me. Other comic book heads are going to say, oh, they're always going to find something fucking bad to say. But honestly, I think he did great playing Cable. And, later on in the plot, a spoiler. Here's one of the spoilers to the movie, which I was trying so hard not to do to my boss today because I wanted to be so bad. So, spoilers, guys. You get to see the Juggernaut. He fucking comes out. And that's a big fucking spoiler, so I'm sorry. Right now, I'm sorry. So anyway,
you're still watching. It's your own fucking
yeah,
fault.
exactly. So whatever. You're still watching at this point. If you haven't seen the movie, it is your fault. So anyway, Ryan Reynolds tells the kid, make friends with the biggest, baddest guy in the fucking jail. Don't fight them, And sure enough, he goes and makes friends with the Juggernaut. You don't know it's him. And even Ryan Reynolds, it's so funny. He breaks the fourth wall a lot in the movies, in both movies, really. The first Deadpool and this Deadpool. And he's just like, he looks at the camera and he's like, foreshadowing, because you don't know it's the Juggernaut. And, the Juggernaut, actually, they go to save the kid, and the kid lets the Juggernaut out of his cell, really, on the truck when they're doing a transport, which there's a lot of funny shit going on with the transport also. So, we won't break those jokes either, but with the Juggernaut, he ends up ripping Deadpool in half. And, they carry him home. And that's when he ends up meeting Cable because Cable realizes this shit is not going to happen with the Juggernaut there. He's going to need his help to get rid of this kid. And they come to an agreement that Ryan Reynolds gets to talk to him first to see if there's any good in this kid. So the plot, it really stays with the plot through the movie, even though there's a lot of comedic relief. And there's a lot of action. All this whole time, he's been fucking people up since the opening scene. Like, you get to see him getting blown up into pieces in the first 3 seconds of the movie. So, it was nicely done. even to the end, and like to go on with the story. They end up going to the place where the kid was getting tortured. He was a mutant with other mutants, and we won't ruin the end of the movie for that much. But even towards the end, they end up, Cable ends up going back in time to change the outcome of the end of the movie, and that's where we'll leave it at that. So all said and done, it was it was nicely done. I'm like tripping over my words, but for the action, the comedic relief, it stayed true to the plot. It was true to the comics, and that's what Ryan Reynolds wanted from Deadpool in the first place.
Yep.
Because his first fucking time as Deadpool in Wolverine Origins was not a good time. And that's obviously some end credit stuff that
Yeah, make sure you guys stick around for that. But as always, nobody would think otherwise when it comes to a Marvel movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not technically in the cinematic universe. This is the 20th Century Fox property, so you would think, oh, there's nothing in the end credits, but it's Marvel. Marvel owns Fox now. Well, it's actually not Marvel. It's Disney. Disney owns Fox. So obviously there was going to be some shit. So most people don't know that, I would say. They go in thinking like, oh, this is a Marvel movie from Fox. It's probably not going to be the same. But there is end credit stuff. And I don't think we should give away that either. We'll leave some to the... Yeah, we'll leave some shit to the imagination. So all said and done, I think over here, I think this is a 9. I want to say 9. Or at least a strong 8.
That's right. I would say 8 to 9.
8 to 9.
It depends on the type of movies. I always tell people that when you rank a movie, for me it's hard to compare something that was like, for me, some of the ones I love, like comparing a Braveheart to Deadpool, it's difficult because there's so much comedy in one compared to like just all seriousness and drama in the other. But as far as comedies go, and as far as the compare, I thought it was just as good as the first one. And normally we all know a sequel never has that effect. I thought it did really, really good. It held up because they kept the bad guy good. I thought the first bad guy, I can't even remember his fucking name from the first one. I didn't even give a shit about him because it was more just like being awestruck at the fact that how funny it was and how much breaking the fourth wall. We were all hyper focused on that. This time, you knew all that was going to be there. Now I felt like it was the creators and director and everybody involved, the writers, to make sure that they created a bad guy that we could follow. And that's what I thought they did with Cable. I know Cable doesn't stay that way, as Jeremy said. It switches a little bit at the end. But still, in the beginning, he was a great foe to be fighting Deadpool.
Exactly.
Because Deadpool was just annoying him, really.
Exactly.
In the comics, Cable's a badass, but he just wants to get through him to do his job, and he can't. So I said, honestly, like that aspect of it, as far as Cable going back around me, a lot of the movie Looper with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, he's like traveling through time.
Yeah, like he had to go back. And he was like always tough to kill, but that's what Cable was, just this tough guy that could get getting the job done.
Exactly.
So it was cool the way they broke it down like that.
So
and Annie and Juggernaut was cool too. They, like I said, they melded X-Men without going too crazy. Obviously, there was a few things where they laughed about not having anybody in there and had a quick cameo of everybody as a joke. But for the most part, they didn't bring it all in. He created his own little squad, which again everybody has seen. In the trailers. And,
that's what I was going to say.
It was just goofy. It was like stuff that you would laugh at. It wasn't like he creates this entourage of there's a character for the comic. He kept it pretty good.
And you know what? That's what I was going to say also. Like lately when we've been going over these trailers, one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of the times the trailers, they give away too much of the movie.
I agree.
And with these trailers that were released for Deadpool, even though they had great marketing, a lot of funny jokes, this motherfuckers were plastered all over 7-Eleven. Great fucking marketing. They still didn't give away that Cable ends up being on his side. I didn't get that once from any of the trailers. So since they didn't give too much away, they did everything I say by the book. That's how it's supposed to be.
Some of it I thought they could have kept some of it out of the trailers, but I know you got to capture us.
Yeah, you got to get something.
Some of it, I was like, I get mad. I told you one of my biggest upsets was Batman vs Superman when they came out. They showed Wonder Woman in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you would have started to figure it out as you were watching that movie.
Absolutely, but that's giving it away. And it's and then you see that she's fighting.
Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a whole topic in itself. But you know, that with that particular movie, it's like you know that the fight isn't going to be between Batman and Superman. They were building
Yeah.
it up like this is the fight, this is it, you know. But then it ends up they're teaming up together, so you don't really get that from the Deadpool trailers, and you
Yep.
find that out later on that they're going to work together. And you know what? I think that with the trailers, the movie itself, the end credit scenes, all the comedy, it was nicely done. They had a better budget than they did on the first one. The first one was
Cool.
like only 3 fucking places they were shooting at.
It was like 40 mil or something they spent on the first one.
Yeah, and they made crazy money, so they knew it was going to be good. Now, and you could tell that they had way more money for a budget this time around. Even
Yep.
from the marketing alone, having Celine Dion
Well, you just
singing.
CGI is some of the most expensive shit to do. So when you see more CGI, it's usually
Right,
like,
right. And,
like
you
this
know,
is budget.
right, and Colossus is CGI. Obviously, Juggernaut was
Juggernaut with
CGI.
CGI. Yep.
So, you know, there was CGI going on for it. And then
Well, I mean,
even
it
the
cuts
spaceship that they fly, or the ship they fly around in is CGI. So,
X-wing.
X-Wing, right. I don't know why I'm fucking slipping. I'm fucking tired. But still, either way, it was nicely done. So, I'm saying it's a strong 8, 9. Dan definitely agrees with me. So, if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Also, hitting 133 million opening day, that's big.
Yep.
That was a big thing.
It's a cult following, and I think it rightfully so. It's a different, like I said, it's just a different movie, and I always tell you that. Sometimes you just have to find something different. That's what grabs everybody, is we see something different than what we've always seen.
Right, right.
And again, like Infinity War was just a buildup of 10 years, so that was going to get the mass like appeal no matter what.
No matter
this
what.
Movie's just, like I said, it's still superhero, but the comedy's better than the other crap ones we usually see. Like even Infinity War has its funny jokes, but it's still like they have to be playful enough where they can't, get in trouble for what they're saying. I love that there's no remorse. Like these guys will make jokes, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is what a lot of people like about it. That's what the whole rated R aspect.
Yeah.
To me, it's not, it's he can say whatever he wants.
Exactly. And you know what? That's probably why it blends so well with our podcast, because we say whatever the fuck we want. So maybe that's why we fucking like it. But, I mean, for having such a serious movie coming from Marvel with Infinity War to then go to Deadpool was a nice comedic relief. Because even though there was jokes, like you said, in Infinity War, they were more lighthearted and it was more serious. The whole movie was serious from the start.
Pandering to the masses that had more kids watching it again.
Exactly.
You have to worry about that here. All the raunchy jokes were actually hilarious.
Exactly.
I'm sure if most of the guys our age have thought or said millions of those jokes before, so it's funnier when you've just seen it.
Yeah, especially on the big screen.
Yeah.
It was nicely done. So, I mean, that's where I want to leave it.
Yep.
I'm so happy Ryan Reynolds did a great job. Even in the end credit scenes, that actually made the movie to me, at the end.
Yeah, they were funny too.
You know, so like, good shit, Ryan Reynolds. Keep them fucking coming. I mean, you never know though. Like I was saying to you on the way out of the movies, like, as much as we don't want to say it, they could build an X-Men off of what he's already started.
Yeah, I hope not. I'm done with X-Men. I told you that.
I hope not either, but it's possible. You know what I mean? It's possible.
Yeah, if he ever stars another movie with Hugh Jackman.
Oh, forget it. I don't think Hugh
Jackman. I know he did already with like the origin story of Wolverine, but my God, please don't.
I love Wolverine, but we didn't need an origin story. If you don't know Wolverine's origin, you shouldn't be watching the fucking movies. Let's put it that way. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. We're gonna talk Mile 22 with Mark Wahlberg. From the look of the trailer, it seems decent. What are your thoughts on that, Dan?
When I see it, I think the same thing like you said. I'm actually a big fan of Mark Wahlberg in a lot of movies. He plays serious roles. But then again, like what I said, when I see the trailer, it looks like another play on like, I'm going to be this fucking military guy. Or like even when I looked at it there, I immediately got a sense of like Mission Impossible or something.
Right.
And I don't know why. That's the first thing that triggers in my brain. And I don't know, like I can't grab these anymore. Like I told you, everything seems so fucking similar.
Repetitive, yeah. But you know what? We got to hand it to him.
I am a big fan of Mark Wahlberg, so I will give it a legitimate shot. But not that I'm spending my hard-earned money to go see it in the movie theater.
Yeah, I mean, with Mark Wahlberg, I'm a big fan of Mark Wahlberg. I think he does great movies. And you know what? Like you said, it does have that. There is some shit one. Like everybody, they have their fucking
Transformers.
Oh, forgot about that one. Yeah. That one's not good. But
Wow.
you know what? It's like you gotta eat. Marky Mark's gotta eat, Dan.
The other movies that he does well,
Yeah, but I mean, he does these type of
like
movies
Ted.
well. Oh, Ted was good, yeah. But like, I'm thinking of that movie when he's a
Oh, the
sniper.
Italian Job's
The
good. Lone
Italian
Survivor.
Job. Right, right.
He
So
does good movies.
he
We can always
does.
go back to Fear. That was like his first movie ever. That was a great movie too.
Yeah, I agree. So with this movie, quick explanation. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with Black Ops. He's like an unsanctioned part of the Black Ops, and they gotta
Mhm.
extract somebody out of a country. And it's not like you said, it has that Mission Impossible vibe, but
Yeah.
it's way different because they're doing something like off the books. Nobody else can get this dude out of the country. They're trying to get paid. I think they're almost like mercenaries. I want to say.
Yeah, I'd have to see it. Like, I'd have to really
Yeah,
break it down to watch it. Like I told you,
we'd have to look at it
because
again.
I've always watched the trailers, but it's like you watch so many sometimes. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, they all
That's why I
start
said
blending
I get a
together.
vibe for them. That's
Right.
all I get. Like, and my vibe tells me everything. Where I'm like,
Yeah, it's like
I start losing focus. I know, but still doesn't mean like I told you, I'll give it a shot.
I
I
think
always
I'll give it a shot
Wahlberg's
too.
shot.
I didn't put a date on this, but I'm pretty sure it's not for a while. So I'm sure we're gonna get another trailer anyway.
Yep.
So let's leave it at that. Let's see what the other
Yep.
trailer has to offer first. Then we'll give it a little bit more in depth on what we think about it. I mean, just from what we did see, it looks okay. So
Yeah.
we'll see what's up. Maybe we'll do an update next podcast and go a little bit more in depth in the storyline because I don't have the link here for some reason. But I mean, we are a little bit behind this week, so we apologize in advance. But if you guys haven't checked out Marky Mark and his Mile 22, check it out. I mean, that trailer came out last week. I caught it, so it's relatively new. That's why it's on the list. All right, so for our movie heads, that is the end of the movie section of this week's Assassin Cast for the week of May 14th. I had to go look up the date because I'm
Not surprised.
shot. Yeah, so we're sorry. But, if you guys are tuning out, you're not going to stick around for the gaming section, we will see you next week. All right? So, moving on to gaming. We are breezing through this. It's going to be a short one. All right, so moving on to gaming, we're going to discuss another leak. I'm fucking sick of talking about leaks. This is
Happens all
crazy.
the time.
It's going to keep happening, unfortunately. People are just so fucking impatient. They don't give a fuck. They're going to try and get all the information they can, and they're going to try and get it out as soon as possible. But this one is coming from Nintendo Retro Studios, and they are talking about a Star Fox racing game. So,
Fuck.
Star Fox, I love that property. I love
Yeah.
Star Fox. I
It's
mean,
almost as awesome as Elf.
right. Almost. I mean, they tried to make him look badass on that. Did you click the link?
Yeah,
They tried to make him look
He's
badass on
supposed
the
to
link.
look like a chump. That's the whole point of him. I love it.
Yeah, I
He
mean-
fucking reminds me of I almost called him Rabbit. Fucking Rocket.
Yeah, it's like Rocket's dirty
You know what I mean?
cousin.
It's like brother-in-law. It's like,
Right. So real quick. Since it's a leak, this is the problem with the leaks, right?
Yeah.
So they want to give us this information, but they don't have fucking information on the game. So from what we do know is, it's not like he's going to be running around on foot. He's not going to have a little Star Fox go-kart. It's not going to be like Mario Kart, but it is going to be a racing game. And that's the only thing we got out of this fucking leak. So we know it's
really
coming.
good, man. Like, we haven't seen many games yet where they've done a lot of these. I think we were talking about the last one when they were redoing it for the 4K drop with the Space, Space Odyssey, something similar like that.
Everspace?
Everspace, there you go.
Yeah.
And so it would be cool to get a space game like that, especially if it's racing.
Right.
But that sounds to me, I'm assuming like there'll be something on the Switch that would probably be fun. But it really would just be a space age Mario Kart, unfortunately, and I'm sure, like I said, it would get old quick. But like again, Nintendo has a small string in my heart all the time because they can pull out an old school game and they sold me.
Right.
I don't even need to see it. It could be complete utter dog shit. They'll sell me.
And you know what's funny? They're trying to make these big strides with the Nintendo Switch. They want to hook you, and they want to hook you good. And that's why they keep pulling out these IPs like they're fucking going out of style. And for a Star Fox Racing, that's a little different because now, if I remember correctly, There was Star Fox Zero. I want to say Zero. I could be mixing the title with something else, but it came out on the Wii U, and it didn't do that
Oh,
great.
did they? I
Yeah,
didn't know that. That was on the Wii U, yeah.
yeah, it didn't do that great, mainly because the Wii U didn't do that great. But
Yeah.
instead of doing a reboot, which we talked shit about like maybe 3 podcasts ago, instead of
Yep.
them redoing it from the Wii U, remastering it for the Switch or whatever they do, they're actually doing a different type of game, which I gotta hand it to them. At least if they're gonna pull out this IP that didn't do well on the Wii U, at least they're making a new game so that they can suck you in.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's their fucking marketing strategy. They know what they're doing. So, so for Star Fox Racing, we can give our thoughts on it. Really, like what it could be. I mean, I'm thinking it has something to do with the ship itself. Like maybe it's a
Yeah.
racing game, like you said, in space or going around a planet. You know, you're racing people to the next planet, maybe dodging.
Who
Fucking
knows? It's only
asteroids.
hypothetical. It's so true. Like, you have no idea with the leak like this.
We have no
It could be
fucking
way
idea.
off. Could be like a fucking sandbox game like EverQuest or Skyrim for all we know. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really know.
Right.
Very
Well-
unlikely, and I bet large sums of money that that's not what it was, but still.
Yeah, well, we know it's something to do with racing. We just don't know what type of racing.
Yeah.
So for you assholes that keep leaking out all this information, if you want to leak something, at least get the fucking information.
Give me something. Give me a little bit.
Yeah, like
a picture of Star Fox grabbing his junk.
exactly.
Give me
Don't you
something.
Fox, you know, grabbing his dick and you know, giving us that look like, yeah,
You know you
it's
want
coming. Like what the fuck? Seriously, it's fucking terrible. I hate that they keep leaking shit like this. So like like I said, so for you assholes that probably don't listen to the podcast, leak something that makes fucking sense that we could actually talk about. Jesus Christ. All right, let's leave it at that. So we'll see what happens with Star Fox. Okay, moving on. Let's talk. This topic is great. Let's talk the Nividia GTX 1080 Ti. Okay, so now this hit the topic list sometime last week. I want to say it was at the end of the week. It's now in stock and available as we speak. So we're going to discuss the features and the age-old question: PC or console?
You know how I feel. Depends on the game.
All right. Well, first you explain to them the difference real quick between the PC and the console. I'm going to pull up some specs on this thing.
Well, like I've always told you, when it comes to the PC and the console, you have like two options. Like games, for instance, that people are playing now that are big time. Like, right, everybody that listens to this has probably at least heard it or heard jokes about it, is Fortnite. Okay,
Right.
there's an example of a game that can be both played on your console and your PC. So some people are trying to decide, where would I play it. Personally, I wouldn't need to know anything about the specs of the game that mean nothing. I would say PC immediately. Because the PC's platforms and servers can handle so many more people and users because that's what they're made to do.
Exactly.
When it comes to the console, to me, yes, we want to play Xbox Live. People even argue first-person shooters are better on PCs. I, on the other hand, will lean towards playing sports games and first-person shooters on a console. But when it comes to a game like this, like Fortnite, where it's not really an MMO, but it's really just a mass. I'm trying to think of a similar game, something like Counter-Strike back in the day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These are the type of games that I would say, because of their ability to be played online, demand you to be on a PC. And if you want it to be on a PC and you want it to run smooth, that's where components like we talk about.
Yeah.
Because we can't touch our console. I can't.
Exactly.
I could do a little bit on my Xbox. I'm sure there are ways, and I'm sure people could tell us in here that they can upgrade their system and do this and that. But I'm gonna laugh at you right now because I ain't fucking opening my Xbox One X and
Exactly.
thinking that I'm some sort of a fucking engineer.
So
When it comes to my computer, though, I can do whatever it is I want to do. I can upgrade it as slow or as fast as I want, and I can allow it to eventually. There is a point where it's not going to give you a total edge on another player, but still, internet speed, graphics cards, RAM, it all plays a role.
So unfortunately, when it comes to consoles and PC, the console game at where it's at now, for the exception of Nintendo that is staying innovative, the two other big powers are Sony and Microsoft, right? And what's happening is, as the time progresses and the technology gets better, these consoles are technically turning into PCs.
Yeah.
So right now, the only difference you're having between a console and a PC is that you're paying a cheaper premium for a console that is just on the cusp of technology, right? So with the PC, like Dan said, can be upgraded and enhanced whenever you want. Something new comes out and you want to be able to stay on ahead of the curve, you just swap it out. As long as your processor on your motherboard can handle the GPU, you're good to go. So that's really the difference right now. It's really, there is no difference really.
Yeah.
It's, some people like to have the PC. I mean,
I think clarity comes in better on.
well, that's what
like
we're about to talk
can
about.
be done. 4K can absolutely. I mean, we know it can be done on the TV, and this video card will give you the availability of starting to get to that way. But again, you still need, what people don't tend to do is you already have a TV. And
Right.
most TVs at this point are coming 4K, or at least close enough to it where you're seeing the actual difference in picture. Getting a monitor that's 4K is that's not cheap. So it's like buying a second TV
Right.
for a monitor. And like I said, I hope people that play laptops, of course, I think I've said to you, you can play Alienwares. There are laptops that you can upgrade, but personally, when it comes to gaming, I would always recommend to anybody doing it, get a desktop.
Right.
Because you can do so much more with it.
Exactly. Now, like you were just saying, I don't want to interrupt you. Okay, so like we're saying, clarity. So pretty much the Nividia, wow, I can't even fucking think of this right now. GTX 1080 Ti is their new graphics card. Okay, it has a boost clock speed of 1670 megahertz. It's supporting DirectX 12, which is fucking high from when we were growing up, that's for sure. The memory speed is 11 gigabytes, memory configuration 11 gigabytes. So you're getting 11 gigs of memory right on your GPU. That's not including what you have in the PC already. So you're stepping, let's say you have 16 gigs of RAM, plus another 11 on top of that just from the GPU. Also, its maximum digital resolution is 7,680 by 4,320 at 60 hertz. It's way above 4K.
But the key is making sure, I hope people understand that, getting a monitor that can display that is key.
Right.
Having the ability of, this is not, what's the rate on that? What's the price on it, by the way?
Okay, so
1,000?
before we get to the price, power consumption is 250 watts. That's a lot, but it's doing a lot.
I would want a power source just for that alone.
You would have to. That's pretty much it.
And have an SD drive. And
So what we're saying is this is outdoing the Xbox One X and the Pro by like 2 times. Let's be real here. So now that's why, right? And now that's why PC gamers are always going to be more arrogant because our shit is the best and da 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 da. Like they don't have to switch it up as frequently.
But to pay that, that's what people don't get.
Okay, so now this is going right now from B&H. It's going for $949.99.
Yeah, I know what's around there.
It's brand fucking new. And
so think about that, buying another TV, because that's really what you're going to have to do, a monitor that is a TV.
Or either hooking it up to your TV. You could even...
These are for somebody that's above the grade, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking at paying, like I said, this is an incredible sum of money. If you have that at your disposal, props to you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you've been building PCs all your life, this is just, you already knew you were getting this way before we're talking about it.
That for Fortnite would be a joke.
I
would laugh at the man that did that.
No,
because there's only certain games like you'd be able where it would be actually realistically worth it.
Well,
like I tell you, used to play Warcraft and stuff. Like, nah, like even that type of an MMO does not demand a video card of that caliber.
No, we're talking games like Skyrim and fucking God of War, even though that's exclusive. But like games of that caliber on the PC would look fucking amazing.
Well, they'll make games to that. Like, they'll do it. Like, same as they do upgrades for Xbox, they'll do it for that.
Anything that came out on the PC, running on that's going to look 17 times better than it does on the Pro or the Xbox One X. So the age-old debate of PC and console, there is no debate because they're both the same thing. They're one and the same right now.
Yep.
And with this graphics card, you're talking about stepping it up like 300%. So honestly, you can go and buy this card right now if you're a PC gamer, but guess what? That's way ahead of the curve. So you can give it time, let the price drop, and you'll still be ahead of the curve because obviously we're going to be gaming on these consoles for a while, and it is what it is at this point. It's like if you really
games won't be able to get on the PC, like we all know that. Like they're not all. but some are exclusive to console. It's just a matter of, like I told you, any game that involves mass amount of people connecting online, I always will err towards a PC.
Right.
They've said that multiple times. The Xbox can't handle it. I remember when they tried to do like Skyrim online on the Xbox, that fucking failed so miserably because it couldn't handle. You get like 50 people on their server.
Yeah.
You lag, it drops you. Then meanwhile, in these type of games where you have fucking 4 or 5 million people playing, I always use as an example World of Warcraft. Like that's a server that's been set and birthed in like the early 2000s. Like it's been revamped and it can handle it. Steam, obviously, a lot of people that play PC games know all about Steam. You can get a lot of games on there.
Yeah,
I know people that exclusively play based off of PC. That's it.
Well, that's just how it is, and eventually, as we progress with technology, consoles are going to be one and the same, or you're going to have something where you can upgrade, like the Nividia graphics card. So we'll see what happens when technology gets to that point. But what we're pretty much saying is that with the release of this graphics card, it's kind of showing you the direction that it's going. So we know that 4K is going to be the big thing. We know that that's the direction it's going. And we know that it is possible to get something better than 4K.
Like 8K.
Yeah, that's coming.
I told you, VR. Think of VR. VR is going to be huge soon. And that's going to be the only way you're going to be able to handle VR is going to be through like a desktop.
Right.
People
and that graphics card.
These bullshit systems, but they can't handle it.
Exactly.
That graphics card for a great VR game would be exactly what you need.
Yeah, that's going to be able to handle that.
8K, VR headset.
Yeah, it's like a dynamic resolution. Yeah, it's definitely made for that. You know, so that's where the technology's coming, and honestly, it's in stock. So if you have the money to drop on it, you're a PC gamer. It's a fucking no-brainer, to be honest. You go and do that. I mean, us over here, we're console gamers right now. There's no reason to be on the PC, but you know, there's going to be, there's going to come to a point where that's going to be.
All the time. You know, I still play games on my That's where I'll always lean for certain genres, but
some people
depends on what you do.
Some people are more comfortable. Right. So we'll leave it at that. You know, if someone ends up getting this graphics card, please let us know how it is. I would love to. I would love to know if it's money well spent, and we'll give an update next time if we do hear something. Okay, so let's move on to the last topic of this Assassin Cast, making great time. We're going to talk Mila Jovich to star in Capcom's next movie, The Monster Hunter. So, what do you think about Capcom making a movie?
I'm always worried. We always talk about this, about a game being played into a movie. And I never got it. I know this game got great reviews. People love it. I just never got into it myself personally, Monster Hunter.
Me too.
I guess it could be pretty good. I could see it being an interesting movie concept. However, it's fucking CGI all over the place.
Right.
So it's literally, why don't you just tell me I'm going to be fucking Alan Grant hunting dinosaurs? Because that's what it seems like most of them are.
Exactly.
And again, we're right back to the same genre we've been rolling over back and forth in other games and other movies.
Now, Capcom has the Resident Evil franchise. So
I hate those movies.
Obviously, it gets a lot of...
I hated them.
I'm not really too fond of them myself. They're not bad movies. I mean... What sucks is they pick really weird stuff to make a movie adaptation from.
You can make a Mega Man movie. Something funny.
Yeah, but like, you know, if you think about video game properties that made movies, like I'm thinking of 3 right off the top of my brain. Assassin's Creed that fucking bombed.
Oh, God.
We knew that, right? Hitman, which was okay, but I never seen the second one, so I don't know if that fucking bombed. And then you got Resident Evil, which they had a few, so obviously they had a following. But that wasn't really my cup of tea. So now you got
game.
Yeah,
that game was good. The original.
Exactly. I loved that fucking original. I loved Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Me and my neighbor, we used to play that shit and get scared shitless on the PS1 back in the day.
The dogs in the beginning.
Oh, the dogs. Nemesis coming through the window or the walls. Fucking crazy. So anyway, Mila Jovich, she was the leading lady for Resident Evil. She'll be starring in the upcoming film adaptation Monster Hunter. It will be directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who directed 4 of the Resident Evil films, as well as 95's Mortal Kombat. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So they announced the film project back in
Your soul is
November.
mine. Right?
Yeah.
Your brother's soul is mine. Ah.
Right. So they announced this November 2016, a couple months before Resident Evil: The Final Chapter premiered. Sorry, I'm losing it. Hold on. Monster Hunter movie is said to have a budget of around 50 million. That's really not a lot. So I don't know what they're trying to do with this. You know what I mean?
Wasted our time. That's what they're doing with it.
Right, right.
Like I said, again, I know the game's got high regards, and the people that are listening play it a lot. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I never got into it. It never grabbed me. I usually would be into movies like that too.
Right.
Sorry, games like that, but I never did.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm not like I've never really played Monster Hunter. It's been around for a long time. It was on the Nintendo DS. It was also on it's
Weren't
there's
they
a
doing
version
Rampage now too? Didn't I recently see that as another movie from the game?
right, which is it's kind of funny because this is like a hybrid topic. We should have talked about this in the beginning.
Yeah.
But you know, the Monster Hunter franchise, there's a lot of people that like the franchise, and there's a lot of people that are die-hard fans. So they're definitely going to see this movie, you know. But for me, I don't know. I think that if they're picking these movies that are based on video games, they need to really put some thought into it. They need to have a budget that's bigger than fucking 50 million. That's for sure. To be able to show you uh, that world in real life.
Doom reincarnated.
Who the fuck knows? I mean, the story. I think the way Monster Hunter is, it's like you're fighting monsters.
Hold on a second. I'm assuming you're hunting monsters.
Yeah, yeah, you're fighting these monsters, and then you're crafting things. It's like a regular. It's kind of like an RPG, an action RPG. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone's gonna fucking correct us for sure. But like I said, I don't really play the franchise, so I don't know too much in depth. I just know a little bit about it. You know, you have a little cat that runs around with you to help you pick up materials to craft. You know, you got to team up with other people to be able to fight the monster. I think that's the new one that's on Xbox One X.
Yeah, it's on there. I know that. I saw reviews on it, but
It's definitely on there. But for most Monster Hunter people will tell you when it comes to the game franchise, like if it's hard to just pick up and get into it because it's a tough game. It's tough to just get into it. Like most Monster Hunter fans have been playing for a couple consoles now, a couple generations of consoles now, so they're just used to it. It's hard for someone new to the franchise to get into it. So that's why I think having a movie based on that franchise that someone can't just pick up and get into, that's tough. That's tough to get extra fan base. Like your 50 million is catering to those people that are Monster Hunter fans, and that's it. So Capcom, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Honestly, it's like
back to your roots.
every time we turn around, they're doing something fucked up. I don't understand Capcom. I really don't. Like, do something good. Bring another fucking Marvel vs. Street Fighter. Like
bring another game where Jeremy can get wrecked.
Oh my god, I fucked you up in the beginning. Then my head started hurting. Whatever. Whatever. All right, I'm sore loser sometimes.
Trying to hold down back button the whole time, guys. You didn't realize you can blow through a block.
Oh my god. So anyway, that's all we have for this week's Assassin Cast. So before we go, you wanna tell them what you've been playing, what you're up to?
I'm just rooting back to some of the, like I told you, I finally finished Witcher as far as the storyline went. I went back and started to down some of the side quests, trying to get the rest of it done. But I do need something new now. So my brain is working, trying to figure out what it is I want to play. Get pushed hard. Some of the guys I used to play with to play Fortnite. Like I said to you, if I do it, it's going to be on the PC. It is not going to be on the console. But I don't, at this point, I don't have the time for something like that. But I don't know. I tend to get crazy when it comes to those type of games. So
exactly,
I don't know if I should.
I don't even know if it's much.
Yelling, that's something people would probably laugh at me.
Yeah.
Let me record myself playing a game like that, and I'd probably make our viewers crack up.
I'm sure. I mean, I could get
similar to how I drive, where I'm screaming at people. I will never road rage you off the road, but I will absolutely mock you, your family, and everything there is about you based off the fact that you didn't turn a blinker on in front of me. So
Yeah,
now
no, me
imagine
too.
that by somebody who happened to kill me out of pure dumb luck. I'm gonna scream like an animal.
Exactly. I'm the same way.
That's
We'll
where I'm
help
at.
you find something. We'll help you find something good. You don't
Yep.
need to be playing that fucking trash. Right now, I'm playing. I'm still in Assassin's Creed Revelations. I took your advice. I'm sticking to one title, but I'm just getting frustrated because I don't have a lot of time to get through it. You know, it's a very time intensive game, and fucking, I've realized that I've done so much of the main missions, and I'm only at like 20% completion. And it's because I haven't done. It's like I told you last podcast. He's in the Animus stuck in there, and he has to go through his ancestors' memories to be able to get his brain back, so he could be an actual person. It's fucking weird. I mean, you have to know the story to understand, really.
Yeah.
But it's like now you have to do. Oh Jesus Christ! So you gotta like get through. You got to get through missions of him to try and get his mind back, and I feel like that's why I'm only at 20%. So I'm playing the game like I would the other two, but I'm not doing his mission. So now I got to find time to do that. It like made the game double the time, unless I just bang it out. But it's tough.
Yeah.
It's more like puzzles in the first person. It's weird. I should have showed you when you were here last Saturday. But you know, I'm trying to work through the collection over there. I got a couple things on the backlog I want to get to. So talking about, so we'll get there. But that's what I've been playing. But I think that's about it. You know.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I think that was it. So this was a quick episode of the Assassin Cast this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We will catch you next week with a whole nother list of topics, and we will have a full movie topic list along with gaming as usual. So I'm Jeremy Malspina with my boy Dan McCarthy, just signing out.
Peace out, bitches.
Peace, bitches.